Hi, this is Morgan Doremus with RT Book Reviews, and I'm here with Robyn Carr, one of my all-time favorite authors. We're here at RWA, a conference, the Nationals, and I was just listening to you speak yesterday about your contemporary romances, and just telling you that everything you said, I wrote down, and because it's so interesting that you have been working for a very long time in the industry, and you really have a way of getting into your readers' hearts. And of course, I'm talking the Virgin River series, almost 24 books. Everyone followed that, but we've moved up the coast a little bit. We're now in Oregon, Thunder Point, for your new series. Right. What made you decide to take on a whole new town and a whole new cast of characters?
Well, there's several reasons. One reason is after 20 Virgin Point novels, or Virgin River novel, sorry, I don't know where I live these days. It was really time not only for me to have a change, but for my readers to have a change. When you have as many as 20 novels in a long-running series, it's a bit intimidating, and sometimes people don't even want to pick up one for fear they'll like it. And they'll have to read 20.
And then their next 3 months are taken care
of. That's right. And so what we're doing is we're starting a new town, and that's the next thing that was very difficult, was finding exactly the right place. Because one of the things my readers really love is that my towns are not cutesy. They're places that demand something of the characters, and the characters have to be pretty tough and resilient and have a lot of inner strength to make it in these places like Virgin River, like Thunder Point. It's not an easy place to live. It's not a rich place. You cannot make a living selling cookies. And it's going to require some real ingenuity, and it's going to require some cohesiveness, some strong sense of community. And I think that's what my readers like, and that's what I'm always looking for.
Well, I was just on the Oregon coast for the 4th of July weekend. I had a family reunion, and I have to say it is one of the most beautiful places in the world, because you've got the rock cliffs and you've got the ocean coming right there. And it was just, and I'm reading your book while sitting on the Oregon coast thinking, that's why she said it here, because it's just such a beautiful, wonderful place.
It's beautiful, but it's not pristine pretty. It's rugged.
It is.
It's very rugged, very sexy. You don't want to get out in that bay where those big, huge haystack rocks are in a rowboat. You know, you have to watch out for that. I mean, it's a rough coast. The Pacific is cold.
It is, and that wind comes right off it.
It's cold. It's windy. It's the weather is so unpredictable. It's wet. The whole state is wet, and that's why it's so green and beautiful.
Okay, well, let's talk. The first book in the series, The Wanderer, you tackle some pretty heavy issues. You have your hero who is coming back from war, who has faced loss, who has faced, heartache, and like the title says, The Wanderer, he doesn't have a place to call home. And he comes to Thunder Point, and what makes him know that this is somewhere where he can find a home and he does belong?
I think it's the people he meets, and I think it's the exquisite coastline, which is property he's been left. So he's inherited this property. He didn't think he ever wanted roots before, and above all, I think it's the woman he meets.
It's always, you have so many things happening in your novels. You have the community building, you have the issues, especially surrounding, like really difficult things you face in your novels. You take a look at what abuse means, what PTSD means, what it's like to lose somebody, what it's like to go through an illness, and you don't shy away from that. And it really builds your couples. They become stronger together and are able to get through these things. And I think that's something that in Thunder Point that happens again and again. And family becomes so important to every one of the characters, and that's something that we're seeing throughout the novel. That there's kids, and there's family, and I lost somebody I considered a brother, and that's really great, because we feel like as readers, we're part of that family too.
Well, as readers, you have experienced all those things, and you don't necessarily want to talk about them every day, but you do like to revisit those emotions in a safe place, because you're stuck with those emotions. You're going to live with them for the rest of your life. And when you read a book, you don't just want to escape, you also want an opportunity to relate.
Right. And to know that there's a happily ever after. It might be difficult now, but there's another side. You can
if
get
not
to
a
the other
happily
side.
ever after, there's at least a resolution to your issues. There's a safe and intelligent and possible way to come out the other end a better, stronger person.
Well, let's talk about The Newcomer. That's the second book in the series. And this one's a little bit different because at the start, your hero and heroine, they know that they belong together.
Right.
They know that this is something they want. And
Right.
so it's not so much the fall into love, it's actually making that love work, bringing their families together.
Right.
That's different for a romance novel. That's something that not a lot of authors can tackle.
Well, it's an interesting transition. And in Virgin River, I loved watching Jack become a husband. And he became just another husband, didn't he? I mean, he was really fun. And then he became an annoying husband. And so, this is something that everybody can relate to as well. And it's really fun to do. And then the idea of covering all those different generations, you have no idea how much people love that. Of course, I do get the occasional letter saying, oh, you dealt too much with teenagers in this book. But mostly, people want to see how every generation works, how every generation falls in love, not just the 27-year-olds. They want to see how 16-year-olds fall in love and how 60-year-olds fall in love.
Well, romance, it doesn't have age limits to it.
No, it does not.
So when you do go to write the younger characters, the middle-aged characters, the older characters, do you have to take breaks between them to get into the mindset, or how do you just adopt those ideas and that voice for those characters?
I have always really liked working with ensemble casts. It doesn't matter if it's a Virgin River novel or The House on Olive Street. I always like dealing with a whole group of people. So no, I don't pause. I just keep on going.
They're all your characters.
They're all my characters.
So let's talk about your upcoming novel, The Hero. At the beginning of the novel, your heroine, she's on the run. She's in a bad situation and she needs to get away,
Right.
and she finds Thunder Point.
Right.
What brings her to that small community?
There's an older character introduced in the very first book. His name is Raleigh Good, and he's an old Vietnam vet with a little PTSD going on, and he's in his 60s, and he sees her walking along the side of the road, and he recognizes her attire from this farm, this commune that he buys vegetables from time to time. And so he knows immediately who she is, and that she wouldn't be walking along the road at dawn if she left. If she got out safely, she would have to be on the run, and offers her a ride and coerces her into coming to Thunder Point for breakfast, where he promises her safety. And that's how she ends up in Thunder Point.
And it's a place where she can heal and start to become herself.
Right.
Which is another theme through your novels, is finding who you are. And it's not necessarily who you are in a couple, but who you are on the inside as an individual.
Exactly.
And that's what we're going to see in The Hero.
Exactly. And when you start a book, the characters that you meet on the first page should evolve to the point that they don't recognize themselves in the end of the book.
And just like we grow and we learn and our experiences change us, so do your characters.
Exactly.
I like to say in a Robyn Carr novel, there's no character left behind. And what I mean by that is, the people that we meet in the first couple of books, we hear from again. That we don't ever have to say goodbye to one of your characters because we know they're going to come back and interact. It is a small town, and so you get caught up with all of your favorites. And I love that, and that's something you're definitely doing with this new series.
Isn't that what happens in life?
It's true.
Haven't you been running into all your old cronies here? And
Yeah.
I'm a little late because I was gossiping outside the elevator with somebody I've known for 30 years. That's how it is. That's how life is. You have your clutch of people that you stay close to, and in a small town with a small population, that clutch is a little bit larger, but it encompasses so many people. And you're right, they're always present. Maybe in a small way, maybe in a big way.
Well, your Thunder Point books are amazing, but I know your fans out there are also wondering, Virgin River, we love it so much, it's so close to our heart. I heard you speak yesterday, and you said, well, I'm not going back today, but I didn't burn the town down.
That's
so
right.
it is a possibility that we might still see. And I can think of nothing better than to have a great big family that I get to go back to again and again in those books.
Well, it's possible. I mean, anything
Never
can
say
happen.
never.
Never say never.
What about Thunder Point? What is coming up for us after the hero? Do you have some characters that you know are going to be getting their stories?
There are 3 new books for 2014, and two of the characters are introduced in the hero that are going to take on the first challenge. The doctor in the town will get his book, and then there's a brand new character coming in. So 3 new books in 2014,
Well, you're not busy at all.
No, not at all. And I think they'll be very enjoyable. I'm very excited about them.
Excellent. Well, I'm very excited too. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with me today, and I can't wait for the hero.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.